I guess it came to be thanks to Ingrid. It was her invitation. But that came about because we were talking last year about the project I was organising and directing in California for the Segerstrom Center for the Arts in Costa Mesa. For that project, I was planning on staging Raymonda Act III for my friends who'd left Russia and left Ukraine. And I wanted to put together Raymonda because it's a personal favourite and it always looks good. Raymonda's a powerhouse special ballet, especially the third act. And I was talking to Ingrid about this and we were discussing it. Sadly, the project in California didn't come to fruition at the time in that particular respect with the program I'd wanted to do. And Raymonda got shelved. But Ingrid very kindly said, well, actually, we're thinking about doing it here in the house next season. Would you like to do it for us? And I thought that'd be great. So I very readily and gratefully agreed. And she then said, and I have also an idea that one of the dancers, Martin, in the company, who's going to be dancing in the piece anyway, will actually design the costumes and scenery because he has a talent for that. And I said, wow, fantastic. So we got together in her office with Martin, with myself, and with Ingrid, and she put the idea to us and said, do you guys want to put together Raymonda, some sort of one-act Raymonda? And we both looked together and said, yeah.
I always liked to draw when I was a child, and I was always between dancing and drawing. And then, yeah, I think I just really liked creating characters, and I think with costume design, that's what it is, basically. And I think I don't know. I get a lot of inspiration from it, and also dancing with nice costume. It always helps the dancer to impersonate the character. I definitely didn't want a flat tutu. I wanted something a bit more droopy. I think for a ballet like Raymonda, it's nice because it's a lot of character steps and yeah, it's just for the overall look because my inspiration is very medieval. And also, especially medieval fantasy, got inspired from medieval architecture or also fashion, medieval fashion, like inspiration from now, from different designers like Paco Rabanne or Balmain. And that's how I did my research first. And I wanted this cross pattern that is very recurrent in the whole scenography and also the costumes. I think it reminds me of the windows of or vitrails of churches or so old castles. Something very simple and very graphic, I think, and clean and metallic.
Raymonda is a very important bit of rep, a big Petipa powerhouse. Along with Swan Lake, it's one of his most recognizable pieces of choreography. The Glazunov score is massive, huge music, huge dances, character numbers. It's a massive ballet, Raymonda, huge. And so Martin and I and Ingrid decided that maybe we could do something like a suite of Raymonda. So not quite Act III, but not quite what's been done before, but something a little bit new. Take our favourite, my favourite pieces of music from the score and from the other acts of the ballet, and try and loosely tell the story still of Act III, the wedding of Jean de Brienne and Raymonda, loosely give that information to the audience, but based around that, include other bits of choreography, other numbers to let the dancers perform. Also, obviously here in the Norwegian National Ballet, there are limitations of numbers. Back in Mariinsky dancing Raymonda, there were probably a cast of 80 or something. It must have been a huge cast. It was a massive cast of dancers, extras, children. Massive cast, probably 100 people, I don't know. I never counted, but I guess if you did, it'd be a lot. So here, of course, there's a lot fewer numbers available. Because it's not just about the fact of the people who can dance it, but also how long it takes to make costumes. The costume workshop were going to make new costumes for us, Martin's designs, but didn't have the spare time just to make hundreds of costumes. So it takes a long time to design and then build brand new productions. So we had limitations of what we could actually physically do. So for that reason, we had to scrap a lot of the character dances. That we couldn't have the extra costumes, couldn't have the extra numbers. And so, for example, Hungarian dance. In Petipa, it's, what is it, about 24 dancers, must be 12 couples, I think, start coming out with those big long sleeves and stuff, at least. Here, I talked to Ingrid and said, well, we have available 8 men. So it's a lot less than 24 dancers. So I got to thinking, how can I utilize that great music? You don't lose the music. That music's incredible, and you can't lose it. That's probably one of the most famous bits of the score. Ingrid made available for me 8 men, so I made them an 8 men's dance. So I choreographed for them. I made basically a Hungarian-inspired men's dance, and which sets the scene. In my mind, I really wanted to let my colleagues here have some meaty things to dance. I know they don't often have a lot of classical things in the company's rep here. It's a very, very, very varied rep, lots of variations, lots of modern ballets and classics here and there, Nutcracker, for instance, but it's not a lot of classical, old school classical pieces. Even our Beauty is by Spuck, which is amazing. It's a fantastic version. I've really loved performing it. But it's not Petipa, it's a modern version. So the company, many of the dancers would come to me and say, oh, here we're doing Raymonda. I'm really excited because I want to do more classical work. And so with that in mind, I wanted to make a piece that would really scratch the itch for them and let them dance classical things, numbers and stuff. So because of that and because of limitations, etc., I've had to jiggle around the choreography quite a lot. I tried to stay as true to Petipa as possible. From what I learned in school, we danced the Grand Pas in Royal Ballet School when I was 17 probably. So I know the Grand Pas from being young. I danced Jean de Brienne a lot in Mariinsky. So I had a base to work from. I know the ins and outs of it, and I could pass on that information to the dancers here, which has been fun. Not been a lot of time, but quite a tight rehearsal period. 3 working weeks to put it together has been really quite tight. Because it's not just about teaching the steps. That took 10 days. But then it's cleaning it, teaching the style. Where does the hand go? Where's the head? Where's the elbow? How can it all be uniform? These things that maybe in schools in Russia they're taught from being 9, 10 years old. But when it's a new dance here, they've got to be taught from scratch where the angle of the head is. The boys are all saying, so we go on the knee. Are we going here? Are we going here? Where's the angle of the head? How does it match? And trying to do it again and again to get uniformity. It's been very time-consuming, but a challenge for me to stage it and set it. I think fun for them too. I hope not too stressful. I hope it's been a lot to put together. But we've got a great company here, great dancers, and they're ready for a challenge. And I think they've enjoyed that challenge.
This was a ballet that I very much wanted to have in my repertoire. So I feel very fortunate to have this opportunity now with Xander. I think it's the style that is very particular, where we place the hands and to work with all the polymons that we could get a bit confused with Donkey. It's something very different. So working on this has been a learning journey for me, and very happy to still have something new to work on in my career. It's been really beautiful to learn the choreography from Petipa with Xander's touch, and yes, such a beautiful music as well. What we have learned, or what I've seen in Raymonda, is that sometimes you do hear the clap, but this time it's a lot more settled. It's more about the polymons and how you use your hands, that you're almost clapping, but without so much intensity or sound. So it makes it a bit more elegant. Yeah.
The Четверка, as we called it back in Russia, what's it called, the Pas de Quatre. It's one of my favourite pieces of choreography by Petipa. I love it. It's so academic. It's such an academic piece for the guys. I remember learning it back in Royal Ballet School when I was younger and thinking, wow, this is so much fun. And everyone's doing their own double tours in a row, and it's a great piece for 4 strong men to show their technique, compete with each other, but also hold a level. It's a very proud piece. Back in the Mariinsky, it was always regarded as a very important role to be given in the 4 boys, and it was always given to some of the strongest soloists. And Vasily Tekchenko being one of them, he's doing it here now with us in the piece, which I'm delighted about because he's been able to bring his expertise to it as well, what he's remembered from his coaches, and that's really good. That's really useful to bring that information exactly. Where's the angle of the head? Where do you look? It's really good to get that uniformity and to take what we've learned from our past coaches and pass it on to new dancers and set something in that style. It's been really interesting to work on it. So yeah, the Pas de Quatre, I think, is one of the strongest pieces in the ballet. It's very powerful. We have 4 very, very talented boys who are doing it, and they look really good. So we have 2 amazing dancers for our first cast, Yolanda and Ricardo. And they're both amazing talents with really strong techniques. So I was just sat outside here on the sofa with Ricardo. He was saying, I really love this piece. It's something I'm really enjoying doing. It's something that I've been looking forward to, and I've been on the phone to my dad talking about in the evening and deciding how I can make better my second diagonal and stuff. I'm like, that's great, He's really thinking about it. He's taking it to heart, and it's nice to see the results. When it becomes passionate, and you grab a role and you own that role and really love it.
It is a debut. I had performed the variation before in Spain in like a gala occasion, but never the full ballet like this. I feel like this is very much suited for me. I enjoy all the virtuoso steps and like the classical of it, but for me the biggest challenge would be to get the style perfectly right, because all the Hungarian, all the heads, all the placements, that's actually the biggest challenge, I think.
Jean de Brienne was one of my favourite parts back in Mariinsky. I'm so glad I've had the chance to work with Ricardo on that and to teach him what I know from it. And he's made it his own. I told him how I did it, and he's made it his own piece. Same with Yolanda, you know, we've worked on the variations and the style, and she's been really interested. She wanted to understand exactly how it's done in Russia, how it's done there, who does it like this and what. And it's the information that she has taken, added to herself, and as a professional, she's made it her own. And it looks great.